but because of the truth of things, we can see the world as God sees it and act according to the truth of the world. So, if we were like perfect animals compared to perfect, not intellectual animals like beavers or dogs, I'm not saying not rational, because as I told you, the beaver is extremely rational, it just doesn't know what it does. So that's for many philosophers in history was the best proof for the existence of God. I mean, the fact that there are rational beings like the beaver who don't possess rationality themselves. They act according to rationality, but they are not rational themselves as a cause of this rationality. It means that somebody else possesses that rationality. I mean, somebody else had to put in the beaver the knowledge about how to build a dam and make the beaver in such a way that it would act to building a dam. So, but we are different. We can see that. We don't possess the power of creating the beaver or creating ourselves, but we can see how we are made. We can see the truth behind our instincts, our material being, and decide what to do about it. So basically Socrates was seeing what I was telling you in the beginning, that freedom means to be able to possess the truth and to judge the truth of things. And from that very source, for Socrates raises our responsibility and morality. So we have to decide according to the truth. So in a sense we are not as lucky as other animals. They just do what they have to. That's it. They don't have a choice. We can choose, so we can get it wrong or right. We can deserve something out of our actions, or we can deserve, something good or something bad. Let's go on. Okay, let me sum up what we have been doing so far. So freedom, as defining our intellectual beings, our nature as intellectual beings, does not involve choosing actually between good and evil. It's just the power of judging is our very being, able to understand things. We are not yet at the point of discussing what performing good or evil actions. We are just saying that whenever we think according to the is statement, this is a tree, this is truth, this is a chair, and everything we think can be reduced to an is statement. Fine. So it's something that comes before acting. So it's about our possibility to know things according to what they are, which is the most radical judgment we can make. It's a precondition for making these judgments about ourselves and the world, because we cannot make any truth statement. We cannot say something, but it is something if we are not free from everything. Because otherwise it would be either deterministic or random, right? This is the alternative. It's the same freedom that God in the Ocean said, and still we don't know what free will would be. It doesn't have anything to do with will right now, what we have been saying about freedom. So let's get to the free will issue right now, which is much more, if you think that this was complicated, so you should leave now, because now it's going to get more complicated. So, to get to the free will issue, we need to actually start moving around. So we cannot just, when we judge the world, when we say this is a tree, in a sense we are receiving data from the tree, through our senses. We see it, we smell it, we can touch the tree, and we make a judgment. We are not still moving anywhere, and so we are not close to what free will means, and I haven't told you, so don't be afraid if you haven't understood what free will is, because I haven't told you anything about free will so far. So, for Aristotle, understanding this level of discussion was actually a question, a physical question. It was about physics. So he wondered about movements, the way things move in the world, which is actually the main issue that physicists at that time, philosophers, were actually raising. So, and he focused on animals. So how do animals actually move? They see something, let's say they see a lion, see a deer, and then after kind of matching deer equal food, I mean this kind of basic association of ideas, it moves towards the deer. The lion starts chasing the deer. So it's mechanical. The lion feels like it's time to eat, and because if animals don't feel like eating, they're perfectly fine with even the kind of food they might like. I mean, even sharks. I've seen a swimmer who is an expert in sharks just swimming with them because they were perfectly full, so he wouldn't have attacked them. And this guy was explaining this shark behavior to me. So, but there is a kind of knowledge which happens at the level of our external senses. So, the five senses, right? Now, this knowledge actually is what makes to animals their object present, even when the object is not with them. So, senses make us in touch with the kind of goal which we don't possess yet. So, we kind of see what we want to. I mean, I'm using wanting, even though we are animals too, but I'm saying something which is common to every animal. So we kind of perceive, this would be a better term, the presence of something that might give us something, might fulfill some need we have. We perceive this presence, and then we have to move toward it, because if we had it already, we didn't need any kind of movement. So, and Aristotle thought that the very cause for this movement is actually an appetite. It's a kind of desire. So I see something, I'm attracted to it. So these things is attracting me. The very cause of my movement is not my knowing that the deer is there, but my appetizing the deer. I'm hungry, that's food, I'm attracted to it. So the cause of movement is not the knowing faculty. The knowing faculty works from the deer towards the lion. When you know something, you actually are receiving something. When you move toward it, you need something that pushes you towards the object of your knowledge. So at that point, for the moving animal, you need two faculties. One which is going from the object towards the agent, and which it's the knowing faculty. Let's say seeing, for example, sight. And then you need something that actually puts you in movement towards it. So this appetite makes actually the object of what you are knowing match some kind of need you have. At that point you move toward it. Now, why am I making this so complicated? Because Aristotle is looking at human beings. He actually was kind of struck by this. For him, it was clear that movement is always caused by an appetite, not by a knowing faculty. But in the case of, let's see that you're looking at human beings as animals. You're trying to figure how they move around. Actually, you see something different than just the lion chasing the deer. You see actually what we were saying about beavers and cutting the trees. You see somebody actually wondering what to do, reasoning. And somehow our movement is the outcome of a reasoning. So for Aristotle, this was something extremely weird, complicated. How can reason, intellect, push me to act? So for Aristotle, human beings were actually kind of weird in the realm of animals, because they are the only ones who actually act out of reason, not just out of an appetite. But reason here is also attracting me, so it's not just reason, it's actually a desiring reason. Is what I was telling you at the beginning, is both appetite and intellect. Is something in between. I know something and I'm attracted to what I know rationally. So it's reason leading me towards a kind of choice. Reason / intellect, because you still don't know what the difference is between intellect and reason. I'm getting there. I'm not forgetting anything. Don't worry about it. So basically, I'm explaining this better now in the next slide. Just 1 second. But for now, for time being, just focus on this. Free will comes into the picture exactly at this point where I need reason. And let me tell you something, I need reason when I don't know something already. And we will get there immediately. So, but yeah, let's go to the next slide, then otherwise I'll go too fast. I said, go to the slides. Oh, wait a second, I forgot something. Let's go back for a second. I forgot something before. So, intellectual knowledge, actually, I told you about the sentient knowledge. I see the deer, the lions, etc. What's the main difference between intellectual knowledge and sentient knowledge, or sentient life and intellectual life? The main difference is that in sentient knowledge, I have always a particular object in my knowledge. If I touch this thing, the only thing that my hand is knowing is this particular wood. It's not that chair. I cannot know that chair to my senses, to my external senses. I know the chair right now, and I can tell you that that's a chair because of some other faculty I have, but not because of my touching or my seeing it. If I look at this volume, I'm not looking at something else. My senses are actually forced to react to something they actually have close to them, and they are present to each other. If I turn the lights off, I don't have any more the light, so I cannot see anything. My eye needs the simultaneous presence of what it's seeing, as my hand needs to simultaneously being touching something which is here, is there. So my intellectual knowledge is something completely different. It's something that actually is weird too, because everything we think doesn't exist. I mean, chair doesn't exist. I mean, that chair exists, this chair exists, but chair doesn't. Think of everything you have in mind, everything you can reason about. Chair, tree, deer, this board, I mean, the projector, and myself, names, whatever. When I think about them, they don't exist, they are abstract. They are abstract concepts. So I need a faculty in myself that makes me able to think and to judge reality as we were seeing at the beginning. But this faculty doesn't have anything to do with my external senses. It needs to, in order to be free from them, it needs to abstract what they are. So it works with something which is totally different than reality, material reality. It's another way to be free from it. So I kind of abstract this, and I make it an object in my mind. So the chair becomes an object in my mind. So let's say that let's go back to the beaver human being difference. So I'm a human being and I build my dam. And here is a beaver building his own dam. So what's the difference? Is that I'm working with an abstract concept of dam, and that's why I can judge the dam to be a dam. Otherwise I couldn't do that. I couldn't, go that far as to judge what the dam is. So that process of being free from the material world, from everything, goes through this kind of abstract abstraction process, my power to abstract the concepts of what things are. But what happens is this is way more complicated than what I've said so far. I'm serious, not just making fun of you. I mean, I'm getting very complicated. But this is very important because free will is an extremely complicated concept, because we don't think of all these concepts when we think of our freedom. So will is an intellectual appetite. What it means is that will is my faculty pushing me towards stuff